Hello and welcome to Construction Wolf. So as many regular viewers know, I'm actually building very slowly a Lego city, and I'm a big fan of obviously modular buildings due to this, and I just like them anyway, to be honest. But they have been going for quite a while now, since 2007, and I only got back into Lego a few years ago, so I've missed quite a few of them as they retire normally after about 3 years of being on sale. So I've been looking at maybe getting some of the older sets to put in my city, and look on the resale market. Brand new seal sets. They're very, very expensive, a lot more above the original price. And there's obviously like a lot of competition nowadays, really, as there's increased demand because there's a lot more adult fans of Lego nowadays, I think, than there were a few years ago. Also even pre-owned sets, they can go for quite a high price too. So I've been looking at maybe an alternative way to get these sets for cheaper. So I'm looking at the Bricklink part out idea. So I'll show you now on the website. Here's the Bricklink website, and it has a bunch of sellers that sell used and brand new pieces. They're independent sellers. So just typing in Bricklink, so you can see it has the sets, and just click on the set section here. And this is the actual set I want to build. So click on there, and you'll see down here. Where is it? There we go. Yep, just here is the sort of part map, so you can add these pieces for the set to your wanted list. So just click on that. And all I want to do is just create a new wanted list for the brick bank. So I'll just make a mock one now as a demo to show you. So you can type in a title, and then you can put whatever condition pieces you want, new or used, or any condition. It works out cheapest one, but I'm going for new in this one. And then I can submit for edit, and then it loads the parts out, and it shows you all the different pieces in the set and how many quantity is needed for the set. Then you see I've put all new here, but you can change them. And say if I had like this piece, I could like reduce the number of how many I've got, so you don't have to buy pieces you don't need if you've already got them. And then for example here, if I had all these pieces, I could just reduce those to 0, and we can you see all the different pieces listed. Then we just scroll right down to the bottom. And here's a tip. The minifigures, I found it's cheap to not buy them as the minifigure, but break them down by parts. So just buy the head individually, the sort of the legs and the torso and the head individually. It just works out cheap doing it that way. So you can see there's some alternatives. So there's like two different sort of models of the same piece really, and it just selects the sort of most recent one, and then hopefully the cost is better. But you can flip between the two pieces and see alternatives. And then we've got the minifigures here as well. So I'm going to add this to my wanted list, and there you go, part X successful. So I've got a wanted list. I can view this list now, and you'll see here these are the sort of the minifigures listed, and then all the different parts. Then say if you wanted to delete a part, you just click on there, say I've got that part, and then you can just go put it in the bin, delete, and then that removes it, so you have to buy it. So now we can click on buy all. So click on that, and then it sort of loads up the list. And then I'm just going to go for United Kingdom, because you can get sort of high postage costs and maybe import tax if you have big orders coming in. That just adds to the costs. So then I just go for the auto select option. It's gone on to United Kingdom. It's just easier, I think. So I've clicked on that, and then I just leave that checked for the minimum buy lower, and then I can always alternate. And then it just sort of processes there and tries to work out sort of the cheapest method of getting all these parts from different sellers and minimise the amount of sellers you have to order from, because obviously you've got postage costs. So there we go. So it's, for this particular project, it's got 16 stores it needs. It hasn't quite got all the pieces, unfortunately. So you can see on the wanted items, this is the pieces it couldn't find. Some pieces are just not for sale in the UK from sellers. A bunch of the minifigures, and this sort of printed glass panel that's quite hard to get hold of, and the sort of big check. But I found alternatives which I'll talk about later in the video. And then we can see that's the sort of projected price just down there, but they're not including postage at the moment. So we can create the carts, as is all to your shopping cart, and then we can see sort of quote including the postage as well. So I'm going to click on the cart, and here we go. So quite expensive at the moment, as you can see. So we can sort of click and see what pieces there are, and you can look for any abnormal sort of priced pieces. And then you can sort of take those sellers out if you want. And then I found that brought down the costs, so don't just automatically go for what it auto selects. So say for example, if there's nothing against this seller, this is perfectly fine, it's just an example. you can click on the seller and then you can sort of add them to your sort of dislike to block them, and then try and do a resubmit for a quote when you remove everything from your cart. You can click on the bookmark at store, and then you can add either favourite or dislike. If I add them to dislike, then it sort of blocks them from being added to the auto select. So there we go. So yeah, obviously you want to play around, because the original price it gives is not normally the best. So when I actually did it myself, I've had to like go for all the sellers and then block certain sellers because they had higher prices, and then it sort of recalibrates and makes the order cheaper. I've decided to use new parts where possible for all the pieces. As you know, from past experience, I have had issue with used parts, and then it's sort of a bit of a gamble, a bit of lottery what you might get. If you see my Spring Lantern Festival video that I made a few years ago, I had issues such as, you know, discoloration of parts, and then also the clamping power of the pieces together. If the older parts sometimes are a bit loose and they just come apart too easily. And then also you haven't got any issues with sort of cleanliness, you would say. If it's used Lego, then you don't have to worry about washing or anything. They're just, you know, new and ready to go. So that's the solution I went for. I already had some spare pieces in my collection. For example, you get spare pieces from every Lego set of the small pieces. And then also from my Botanical Gardens project, where I doubled up the Friends Botanical Gardens, I had pieces left over from that. So I had some of those in use as well. And then also had the recent trip to the Powerball, and got some pieces too. So I can use these, and I'm going to take them all off the list on Bricklink, and then that reduces the cost overall and the parts I need, and hopefully maybe the amount of sellers I need with postage to actually get the pieces I need for this set. And also actually I've already had the base plate, and I've from the Powerball used pieces to make a Mills plate all ready to go. As I'm sure you can see, over the past week or two I've been getting quite a few Bricklink orders in, and you know, I've obviously put them all sorted now and gone through all the pieces. Unfortunately, probably about half or just over the orders, there were problems where there was either an incorrect piece or a missing pieces. So I've had to contact these sellers, you know, and try and sort that all out. There's one piece that I just couldn't get on Lego.com now because they don't do it. So luckily the seller had that. They made an honest mistake and sent it to me. And then the other sellers, they just refunded me for the pieces. And luckily I've got a Lego.com order on the go for another project. So I can just add those pieces to that project and then not have any issues. I just have to wait a bit longer. The problem is if they didn't have those pieces and the seller doesn't have the pieces, you're going to have to incur extra costs by ordering from another seller, you know, with the postage costs. That's something to be aware of. And then it's just having the patience to, you know, go through every order and sort them out for such a big project when there's thousands of pieces. But I've gone and done that now. And then there is still one order outstanding from a seller just been, you know, really slow. I've had to chase them up. But I think I can wait for that still and start this project now, so I'm not delayed any further, and then hopefully I won't get stuck waiting for those pieces as I'm going through the stages. So let's have a look at how I've ordered these pieces. So I've left a clearing at the centre that I can actually build the set on as it's you know, going up. That's my Mills plate that I talked about. And then I've got all these containers that you may have seen in other videos before, just really ideal for sorting pieces into, and they're transparent on the sides so you can see through the sides. And you know, I've just ordered into sort of part type really, so I've got my sort of smaller plates like the 1x2s and the 1x4s, and then sort of broken up by colour type as well. These are all just other sort of 1x2 pieces. Got like, then I go into brick, like 1x2 brick only in this one. These are sort of like rods and, you know, connectors. And then like ingots, hinge pieces, sort of the right angle pieces, circular pieces. Then we've got a whole host of tiles. The bulk pieces I've kept in a bag so they don't get mixed in with the other colours, and it's just easier to find them. So these are just all tiles and like sort of jumper plates, and then tiles. Got my sort of a few more 1x4s and other sort of smaller plates, and then different brick that's sort of shorter brick like 1x3, 1x4s, and the right angle ones. And I've see the same colour ones I've just kept in a bag just to keep them easy to find. And then we've got like the longer bricks, and I've kept them in like colour order, like sort of your dark bluish grey, your light bluish grey, your sand blue and the white. These are the sort of long ones, so I can just easily pick those out as I need to. And then we've got the larger plate here, sort of the, you know, the longer pieces, you can see ordered by colour as well. And again, I've kept the pieces that are in bulk in the bag so I can mix them in and find them more easily. Then we've got, you know, like sort of arches and stairs and doors, things like that. And then like again, bulk pieces there. And then sort of miscellaneous larger pieces, one by sort of one sort of near brick and sort of cylinders. Then we've got like, you know, sort of slopes just in here, and inverted slopes. And then the ones the sort of bricks with holes in there. Then we've got sort of snot bricks, studs not on top, so those, and like sort of brackets and things like that in these bags. All the sort of miscellaneous things like prints and minifigures in here, plant elements and unusual sort of pieces like cameras and things in there, and then all my sort of 1x1 pieces in here. So yeah, I'm going to need some good reach to get all these pieces, but I've tried to put them in a reasonable position as possible. There we go. So I've got good long arms, so I can reach and find all these pieces with ease. I think just doing it this way just makes it a much more enjoyable experience. You're not trying to scramble around and find the pieces if you've got like thousands of pieces on the go at once, because it's not the same as having like a Lego set brand new, where you just get a bag with one staging and a bunch of pieces. You've got them all out at once, so this is just an easier way to find all your pieces more easily, enjoy your building experience. So I think I'm about ready to begin. So I've put quite a lot of hard work in to get to this very organised stage that you've just seen. So now it's going to be the really fun part, so that's actually getting to the construction. So I've got my instructions at the ready, so let's begin. Finished, and here's the completed set, and that's a good look at it. I think it holds up really well. This is from 2016 originally, so 9 years ago, and still looks really spot on, I would say. It's going to fit in nicely into the city, and also for a set of this age, it's still got a lot of sort of fun details, a lot of interesting stories within it, and playability features we'll look at in a moment. And I've made some substitutions, and I think just from looking from afar like you are now, you can't probably tell what they are, so I think we'll have a dive on inside and check out some of the features briefly, and then also I'll point out the substitutions I made and why I made them. So let's look at some of the details and substitutions I made on this set. So we've got this mother and daughter here, and one of the substitutions I've made is she normally holds this big white 2x4 tile which is printed, which is like a big check, like she's won something. Didn't buy that because that's quite a rare piece and it was a bit pricey, so I can always just print out a sticker, and I've got plenty of those tiles anyway, so it's not much of a loss. One of the fun stories is she's actually taking pictures, like pretending her daughter's won something, but that she's actually casing the joint. We'll see how she goes around her burglary duties later. So put them to one side. It also comes with like this for window washing. One of the cleaners washes the windows. One substitution made is this glass at the front on the bank. They have like a black printed pattern on them, but they were quite expensive, and I didn't think worth it because it's quite dark inside. They don't sort of pop out to you when you look at them, so I just used normal glass, and actually I like how you can see inside better because of the normal glass panels. Unfortunately, on these soaps and suds, which is the laundrette next door, it should have a printed sort of glass panel that says soaps and suds on it. Which I thought was really nice, actually quite colourful, but that was £20 to £30 because it's only in this set. Not worth it, so that's the only substitution I regret really, but it was sort of worth it not buying it, I think, and it still turned out quite well. The really nice sort of brick built washing machine and the sort of trousers on the top there, so that looks really good. So we'll have to dive on inside in a moment, actually. Firstly, I'll talk about the outside substitution. So I made a substitution here, and I'll put a picture up where they had these keys, which were here, but they were like, again, sort of for the pair of them, £20 to £30, maybe more, £30, which is I just didn't think worth it for two little pieces. And so I looked, what could I use that's different? So I used these Minecraft pieces, the axes, and that actually changed the technique I used to build them. So if I pop this off, you see I've use like sort of jumper plates here to inset them by half a stud. So I have been learning over the years Lego techniques, so I had to change how this was built, so the maths was right, so they were at the right angles and in line with everything. So pop that on there. So I had to use some pieces and know how to get that to work, but I like how that's turned out. It looks really good. You wouldn't really know unless you knew the set that it was different, and I think it's blended in really well. So let's look on the inside then. So all the outside's the same. So this is the ground floor. So here's the actual bank, and then this is where the customers come in. So I'll substitute these sort of shield tiles here. They're supposed to be a sort of a sand blue, but I just couldn't get those in the UK. I think they're quite rare again. So I used the sand green. I think actually that was a better substitution than what was originally there, because it blends in with the colours of the bank better. So I'm happy with that. That was a good substitution. And then if we look, if I just flip this around here, you'll see there's a newspaper on here. Again, I couldn't get the original newspaper. I can't remember on that one if it was a cost thing or just couldn't get hold of it, but actually went for this one. And I actually like this one better, actually. It's a nice little story about a missing cat. So just on the wall of the Soaps and Studs laundrette. So that was quite a good, actually, substitution. And if we open the safe here, so again, it's just so many good play features. And you can see, actually, if I flip this round, you can actually crack open the vault. So that's a really cool feature. And there's piles of money in there as well. And if I close that back up, you'll see, actually, you can pull this whole module out. And there's a story here where you'll see where you can slide someone down into the vault on a string. So that's part of a bank heist we'll show you in a moment. And then this whole module slides out here. So you see like the washing machines. So here's the bank vaults. There we go. And you see I've got like money and bars. So I actually substituted these bars. They're sort of with a completely metallic shiny looking ones, but I already had these. And I think the sort of matte gold ones actually look better. So that I had already had these pieces from one of those, gift for purchase, sort of pick a brick bags, they gave out a couple of years ago. So I thought I'd have those. And one of the jokes is you can put this in here and money, and it's like laundry money. So it's a really good, fun joke. I really like the set. And it just shoots out into the safety deposit box. And this was a colour substitution. This 2x3 door couldn't get in black at all in this country. So I went and looked around what colours might be suitable, and I found this, sort of darker blue colour. And obviously I had to substitute this on the side so it blended in properly. But I think that turned out quite well in the end, and it's on the inside it still looks quite reasonable. So again, saving costs by making sort of smart substitutions worked out quite well, and that just slots in like so. And then obviously put this in, you'll see they shoot out the vent into the actual vault with all the money. So pop that on there. So not very good security in this bank, is there? So pop that on like so. So that's the ground floor with obviously the sort of cash register. And then if we pop on the next floor and take off the roof to have a look, you'll see as I lift the roof up, actually, there's a nice chandelier that sort of hangs down. Again, really nice details in this set. And then you can fold it flat to lay it down when you're looking at the set. And obviously got say like a sort of a clerk that sort of can take orders, things. Got a little coffee machine at the back for the employees. You can see the chimney still extends down here where they can go in and rob the vault. And here's the bank manager with his stamp, and actually managed to get hold of the original sort of envelope that comes with the set, which was reasonably priced. And you've got like a little parrot statue there. So that's quite nice. And then I think this picture on the wall as well was an original piece as well, so I didn't have to substitute that. So I think this whole floor was totally original from what I can remember. Nice little fireplace too. So that turned out really well, and even got all these sand green windows as well, because they're a bit more pricey, but I think I didn't want to change the colour of those because that would significantly affect the look of the outer building. So it look reasonable. And then you'll see the top floor there, the chandelier and a nice skylight. Again, kept the sand green. They were pricier pieces, but worth it, I believe. And then just slot this on like so. Then we had like a little crane sort of area here, that could be like a story feature. And you see the extension of the chimney here. And then there's this joke here where she comes with like obviously a balaclava. There we go, so that's it. So got a balaclava on. She even got little robbers sort of like a hat on there. There you go, so totally changed character. And it's back in these days, modular buildings had the classic smiley face Lego faces, not the more stylized faces that are all different nowadays. And then she can sort of get onto this rope here and then just sort of hang it on to the building. And then she can drop down, and then I don't know if I can show you if I lift out the building. Right, so I've got it ready, so you'll see she can actually slide down the roof. Ooh. And then it's like so, just so you can see I've hung it down here, and you see we slide it down here. I'll open the vault so you can see it better. So she slides down here and she's in the vault. So that's a really good play feature. And then she can get drawn back up, and then once she's got the money and come out. So overall, I would say it's a really fun set. As you can see, it's aged very well. think it turned out, quite nicely. There's not many differences from how the original set was to my substitutions. And so let's clip this in place, and then we can talk about how much this actually cost. So that's a good look at the substitutions I made in the inside of the set. And so you're probably quite interested in how much did I actually pay to build this set then using this method. So the overall price was just under £240, which I thought was quite reasonable because I got, as I mentioned, virtually all new bricks apart from a couple of pieces. And the reason, as I mentioned, I went for this was there's quite a large white frontage to this building, and I didn't want any, yellowing bricks from pre-owned bricks. And also I've had issues with the clutch power of pre-owned bricks in the past not sticking together properly. And also there's the gamble as well, how clean the Lego is you get, and I didn't want to get involved in loads of washing again. So that's the reason I went down that route. So you could actually save even more money by buying used bricks. And I did save a bit of money for transparency by combining the postage with another project I'm working on. So I ordered more pieces for another project, which I'll show in a later video. So that helped bring the costs down because postage can be, as you saw, a bit of a hit. And then also using the pad wall, that's a great way to save some money if there's some pieces there that you need. And just parts of my Lego collection from spares, etc. To help bring those costs down. And then also, as I mentioned, breaking down the minifigures, not just buying the overall minifigure, but buying them by leg, individual and head. That was a cheaper way of buying the minifigures. So on the pre-owned market then, on say popular auction websites, a pre-owned brick bank would cost about £260 to £300. So again, it's a bit of a saving on that, but still a saving. And a brand new sort of sealed set, which is pretty much how this is. In a way, well, obviously not a sealed set, but new, it would actually cost over £400. That's a big saving using this method. And I would say actually this is from 2016, but maybe even older sets, some of those can go for £800 plus for a brand new set. So using this method could be quite a powerful way to get those in the future as well. I'll just have to look at how many parts can be easily substituted if they're sort of quite rare or expensive. So yeah, overall I'm quite happy with how this has turned out. And I'm going to get this in the Lego City in a future update. I'm just waiting to show you another project to work on once that's completed. And let me know in the comments, would you use this method or can you be bothered? I thought it was, quite a fun way of doing things. And the only issues I had really were some Bricklink sellers, this time compared to other times, there were quite a few errors, unfortunately, where pieces were missing or incorrect. And normally they just refunded me to save sending pieces out. So then luckily I made a small order on lego.com for other things, so I could just add those to that order and not incur any further postage costs by having to buy things again. So that's a good little tip as well, waiting to not buy everything until the end when you've got everything. So yeah, happy how it turned out. I think from a distance you won't really notice a lot of the changes. And actually I kind of like the personalisation of some of the bits, the little details up here, that makes it my own. And just that's part of the fun of Lego, isn't it? So hopefully you found this video useful, enjoyed it, and if you could consider liking and subscribing, that'd be very much appreciated. And I hope to see you again next time. Bye.